In 1993, a German engineer named Rudolf Gantenbrink sent a small robot into one of the most mysterious spaces inside the Great Pyramid of Giza. The robot was called Upuaut II, an Egyptian name meaning "opener of the ways." It was barely wider than the shaft it was built to explore, a narrow passage roughly 8 inches square that extends upward from the south wall of the Queen's chamber deep inside the pyramid. The shaft had been known to exist since the 19th century, but no one had ever seen where it led. It was too small for a human to enter, too long and too steeply angled to illuminate from the opening. For over 4,000 years, whatever lay at the end of that shaft had been sealed in total darkness. Upuaut II climbed slowly. The shaft rose at a steady angle through the body of the pyramid, its walls tight around the robot's frame. The camera fed back images of smooth limestone, meter after meter, with no variation, no branches, no change. The shaft appeared to lead nowhere. And then, after a climb of 63 meters, the robot stopped. Ahead of it, filling the entire width and height of the shaft, was a small slab of polished limestone. It was roughly 21 centimeters square, fitted precisely into the passage. Set into its face were 2 corroded copper fittings, one on each side, shaped like small loops or handles. The slab was sealed flush against the shaft walls with no visible gap. It was a door, a deliberate, finished, sealed barrier placed deep inside the largest and oldest of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, at the end of a passage too narrow for a human being to reach. Nobody had known it was there. The discovery electrified the archaeological world. The shafts of the Queen's chamber had long been a puzzle. Unlike the shafts in the King's chamber directly above, which extend all the way to the exterior surface of the pyramid and open to the sky, the Queen's chamber shafts were sealed at both ends. Their openings into the chamber itself had been covered over with stone, and were only discovered in 1872, when a British engineer named Wayneman Dixon noticed a crack in the wall, pushed a wire through it, and felt empty space behind. Dixon's probe revealed the shaft, but did nothing to explain what it was for. Ventilation seemed unlikely for passages that were sealed at both ends. A symbolic function, perhaps related to the pharaoh's soul reaching the stars, had been proposed based on the astronomical alignments of the King's chamber shafts. The southern shaft in the King's chamber points toward the constellation Orion. The northern shaft points toward the circumpolar stars. If the Queen's chamber shafts were extended at their respective angles, the southern shaft would point toward Sirius, the star associated with the goddess Isis, and the northern shaft would point toward the constellation Draco. But alignment theories could not explain the physical barrier at the end of the shaft. Why build a passage 63 meters long through the interior of a pyramid, and then seal it with a polished stone slab fitted with copper handles? If the shaft was purely symbolic, why install hardware? And if the slab was meant to block the passage permanently, why give it handles at all? Gantenbrink's discovery raised more questions than it answered, and then something happened that made the mystery worse. Egyptian authorities halted the investigation. No clear explanation was given at the time. Gantenbrink was not granted permission to continue exploring the shaft. The robot was withdrawn. For nearly a decade, the sealed slab sat in the dark, 200 feet inside the Great Pyramid, and nobody was allowed to touch it. In 2002, a new team was given access. The National Geographic Society, working in collaboration with the Supreme Council of Antiquities in Egypt, sent a different robot into the southern shaft. This one, called the Pyramid Rover, was equipped with something Gantenbrink's machine had not carried: a drill. On September the 17th, 2002, the exploration was broadcast live on international television. Tens of millions of viewers watched as the robot climbed the shaft, reached the limestone slab, and drilled a small hole 3/4 of an inch in diameter through its surface. A miniature fiber optic camera was threaded through the hole. What the camera revealed was not a chamber. It was not a treasure. It was not the answer anyone had hoped for. Behind the first slab, separated by a gap of roughly 7 inches, was another slab, a second sealed stone, this one rougher in texture, with cracks visible across its surface and what appeared to be chisel marks. It looked, according to the head of Egypt's Supreme Council of Antiquities, like it was sealing something. 2 doors, the first polished and fitted with copper, the second rough, cracked and unfinished. Both sealed. Both blocking passage through a shaft that nobody can explain. The second door has never been opened. No drill has penetrated it. No camera has seen behind it. Access has not been granted. Shortly after the live broadcast, the Pyramid Rover was sent into the northern shaft of the Queen's Chamber for the first time. This shaft had never been explored because sharp bends near its entrance made navigation extremely difficult. The robot struggled through 4 tight turns and climbed to a distance of roughly 208 feet from the Queen's Chamber, the same distance as the southern shaft's slab. At the end of the northern shaft, the robot found the same thing: an identical polished limestone slab with 2 copper fittings. A near-identical door stood at an identical distance in the opposite shaft. Both shafts, north and south, were sealed with matching barriers at matching distances from the chamber. Whatever the doors were designed to do, they were designed symmetrically. 9 more years passed. In 2011, a third robot entered the southern shaft. The Jedi project, named after a magician said to have been consulted by the pharaoh Khufu himself, carried more advanced equipment than either of its predecessors. Its key tool was a flexible micro-snake camera, thin enough to bend around corners and small enough to thread through the hole drilled in 2002. The snake camera pushed through the first slab and into the small space between the 2 doors. For the first time, researchers could see the back of the first slab and the front of the second. What they found added new layers to the mystery. On the back of the first slab, the surface was polished and smooth. This was significant. If the slab had been placed simply to block debris from falling into the shaft during construction, there would have been no reason to finish its hidden side. A rough plug would have sufficed. The fact that the rear surface was polished suggests the slab was not utilitarian. It was intentional. It was crafted with care on both sides, as though its presence in the shaft had meaning. The 2 copper fittings, seen from behind for the first time, appeared to be decorative rather than functional. They were not handles designed to pull the slab open. They were ornamental, embedded in the stone for a purpose that remains unknown. On the walls of the small space between the 2 slabs, the camera captured something else. Small red markings, hieroglyphs or workman's marks, painted in red ochre on the stone. A mathematician later interpreted one set of marks as the number 121, which corresponds to the length of the shaft in cubits. If correct, it means someone measured the shaft after it was completed and recorded its length on the walls of a space that was never meant to be seen again. The Jedi team confirmed that the second slab, the one discovered in 2002, appeared to be a genuine barrier rather than a structural accident. Whether it was another sealed door or the final termination of the shaft could not be determined without drilling through it or using ultrasonic scanning to measure its thickness. That scanning has not been done. The second door remains not opened. The Jedi project's work was interrupted, and as of today, no further exploration of the Queen's chamber shafts has been authorized. The Great Pyramid contains two known chambers, the King's Chamber and the Queen's Chamber, connected by a passage called the Grand Gallery. In 2017, a team of international researchers used muon radiography, a technique that measures subatomic particles passing through dense structures, to scan the pyramid from the outside. The scan revealed a previously unknown void above the Grand Gallery, a large empty space with dimensions rivaling the known chambers, with no visible entrance and no known purpose. That void, too, has never been explored. The Great Pyramid was built approximately 4,500 years ago. It has been studied continuously for over 2 centuries. Millions of people visit it every year. And yet, inside its walls, there are spaces that no living person has ever entered, barriers that have not been opened since the day they were sealed, and passages whose purpose cannot be explained by any current theory of how or why the pyramid was built. The technology to investigate these spaces without causing damage exists. Micro-robotics, ultrasonic scanning, muon radiography, and fiber optic imaging can probe sealed environments without breaching them. The tools are available, the questions are defined, and the location is known down to the centimeter. The only thing missing is permission. 2 small stone slabs sit deep inside the oldest monumental structure on Earth. They are fitted with copper hardware and have been sealed in darkness for over 4 millennia. One has been drilled, the other has not. Behind them lies either the answer to one of archaeology's longest-running questions, or simply more stone. Nobody knows, and until someone is allowed to look, nobody will. Thanks for watching. If this is the kind of exploration you want to follow, subscribe. There is more to come.